Hello there, it's Tom again. Well, first I'd like to tell you that I've changed the name and theme of my channel. The reason why I've done that is because I felt it would be better if I just made all kinds of videos, not just grammar related ones, you know. Okay, and I know it's been a while since my last video, but I was a bit busy, well, gardening. Okay, let me show you our pond, which is a very beautiful one. I really hope that you will like it. Okay, so this is my pond, surrounded by stones, plants, and it's home to some fish, frogs and tadpoles, and sometimes snakes appear, which I'm not particularly happy with, since they pose a threat to my fish. One day, for example, I saw one in the afternoon and was just consuming a frog. I caught it and took it back to a lake. Regarding the shape of my pond, or the ponds in general, the shape of the pond often depends on the available room in the garden where the pond is installed. In a small garden, for example, often a small pond is made so that still some room is left to maintain the pond. In larger gardens, larger pond could be a better alternative. I chose a round shape as I felt it would offer the best visuals for the garden. I also put rocks along the edges. Since I'm a beginner, I naturally made some mistakes when making the pond. One of them is that the pond liner is visible. The pond liner itself is an impermeable material that won't let the water go away. Well, I guess I should have leveled the surface under it in a way that would have allowed me to hide the liner later on. Unfortunately, I didn't, so now there are places where the liner is visible. Well, when choosing a liner, consider buying a tough and durable one so that it will not be torn whenever a stone falls into the water or your dog steps on it. Crap may happen, so if your dog jumps into the water and tries to get out, it's always safe to have a shallow path so that your dog can get out easily without tearing the liner with his claws. Under the liner itself, geotextile underlayment was added for the liner to be protected from the roots, sharp stones and whatnot. Another mistake I made, I sloped the walls of the pond a bit, and with biofilm on the liner, the walls have become a bit slippery, so it's a bit hard to get in and out of the pond. Biofilm is a thin layer of microorganisms irreversibly attached to the liner, and it makes the liner slippery. So I've got the shallow part here I've just mentioned, so I can get out whenever I need to. At some point in time, you must get in the pond to remove unwanted plants, stones or sludge. Sludge is the wet soil accumulating deep down. In addition to the hardships of getting in and out, stones may fall in the water if the walls of the pond are sloped. Consequently, a great amount of nutrients can get in the pond, helping the spread of string algae. String algae is a headache for people who are trying to maintain the beautiful features of the ponds. To be honest, I've got some headache too. I tried chemicals, but I experienced no decrease in the frequency of their occurrence. So after having read millions of topic-related sites, I concluded that I need to reshape the surface under the liner so that no stone will fall into the water, giving nutrients for the string algae to feed on. If string algae seems to be hell of a problem, another piece of advice for you would be to put some more goldfish and snails into the pond, because they, in theory, will eat the algae out. Well, I'm in a testing phase, so I cannot really say anything for sure. If you don't want chemicals in your water, you may as well want to try it for yourself. Okay guys, as you can clearly see, we've got these containers here. We call these barrels. Barrels can be made of plastic, wood or metal. These ones are made of plastic. I prefer these over other types because I'm sure they stand the test of time. The barrels are covered with lids, which are basically the top part of the barrels, with which you can cover them. Barrels can be bought in bigger stores, or you can get them second hand. I've got a great water pump deep in the water, and the water is pumped to the bottom of the barrel. The water then percolates up through different levels of rock, sand, pieces of clothes, and gravel. Well, the more stuff you put in the barrels, the more surface is provided for the nitrifying bacteria. These little organisms help us clear our water. When the water reaches the pipe hole, it flows through a pipe, which is connected to the bottom of the other barrel. The water then percolates upwards, flowing through other materials. And that evolves to the bottom of the barrel so that they can be flushed out, which they occasionally are. Like once a month maybe. Valves are devices that open and close to control the flow of water. These barrels work as filters here, and they help me keep my water nice and clean. When it comes to the clean water, I cannot miss mentioning UV filters. I've got this 36 watt UVC, which is just suitable to the size of the pond. Pond UV lights, or UV filters if you want, are ultraviolet light systems that have been used for years in ponds and aquariums in an effort to control green water caused by algae. In a sense, well, they're sterilizers, killing green, single-celled algae. Unfortunately, they don't kill string algae, and that's when things I've mentioned before come into the picture. Oh, and I have almost forgotten the most beautiful creature in our garden, our Vizsla, Malna. She's the defender of the pond, and I'm pretty sure she's worth a video. So, yeah. Stay tuned and subscribe so that you won't miss it. Yeah, see you next time. Tadpoles pose a threat. Pond liner, impermeable. Biofilm, slope, sludge, barrel, stand the test of time, lid, percolate, gravel, valve.